With our numbers back to a more formidable size, we take out another bandit hideout nearby. Banners. You found the banner. Wait, I already know how to do that. Be able to take out another hideout of Sea Raiders, reject the mercenary offer from the Crusades, fail to win a tournament, clear another hideout, lose another tournament, force more bandits to join, actually win a tournament. Wait, I actually won one? Huh. A good job, Tasby. And also reach Clan Tier 2, allowing us to have more troops on the field and an independent party, among other things. We got the heavy nasal helm over mail. This'll be good. This way I'm not gonna die to a random rock that hits my head. Ow! We lose to this bandit hideout, how embarrassing. Cleared his second one, and back near Poros where we started, which is under Western Imperial control now apparently, we meet Gyarios, a participant at the Battle of Pendraic.
Forgive me what may seem to be an abundance of caution, but please keep your distance. Just beyond sword length is fine. So, who might you be?
They know me as Bohemond. I am Gyarios, rightful emperor of the Calradians, lord of Zeonica, Poros, and Jalmaris. Everyone claims to be the rightful heir to the Empire. I'm always looking for good fighters. If you ask me, I suspect you'll be told that I take good care of my men. Can you tell me about anything about the Battle of Pendraic? Yes, we will never forget that day. The day we learned that the old men who claimed they had the right to rule us were doddering incompetents. I was with the vanguard. Neretzes apparently knew that the Battanians had planned an ambush. The Crusade scouts had told him. But he never bothered to inform us. So up we went along a lovely wooded stream until the Battanian arrow started whooshing in from all sides. We had our shields, but you can only point them in one direction at once, so we started to drop, one by one, until the Battanian Volksmen came screaming out of the trees. Ordinarily, they'd be very vulnerable to archers, but, well, old Neretzes hadn't thought to send any along with us. So they came upon us, chopping and slashing, and we fought until we broke. I ran too, and any man who tells you he wouldn't in those circumstances is a liar. When I was sitting in the cold woods later that night, hiding with other fugitives, listening to the barbarians whoop and holler as they chopped off heads as trophies, I promised him that no Calradian soldier should again be led into battle by an emperor who knows so little of war. Afterwards, we sell our loot in the nearby town and speak with one of the merchants, finally having enough gold to form a more secure, armed caravan led by Mata, the spice vendor. And hopefully it brings us good profit. Tipping the scales. Your troops are taking a bit longer than usual to get ready, and you've had time to relax a bit and watch goings on at the market. One commodity vendor in particular has caught your attention. He always uses one set of weights for the sacks that he's buying from local farmers, and another for the goods that he sells. You have little doubt that one or both of these sets is a false measure, allowing him to defraud his customers. Denounce the merchant, now leaving you run the risk of making enemies among the town elite. Oof. While journeying through the lands of the Southern Empire, we spy that a noble we can talk to about the Battle of Pendraic is currently residing in Lavenia Castle, so we could bribe our way in and talk to them, or come back later when they're out in the field. Instead of paying for our passage, we opt to come back later. We quickly lose a tournament, help some villages out with whatever issue they're having, and request to join the Southern Empire as a mercenary, and join up with their army for coin. I'd like to enter the service of Empress Regia. My sword is yours for the right sum. You want some mercenary work, eh? Well, we're glad to take fighters, whether they seek glory or gold. If you fight for us, you will receive 276 dinars whenever you defeat any party of enemies or any other significant deed. Yippee! With the spare coin that we have, we appoint Vigother as the leader of a party and send him off with whatever men we can spare. And immediately gets captured by the army of Crusades besieging a nearby castle. Typical. Come on, Vigother, why did you have to do that? Our willingness to sign up as a mercenary may have been too hasty, as the Northern Empire immediately declares war on the Southern Empire. Unkir the Asrai declares war on the Southern Empire. Why am I always backing up people who are going to lose? We had high hopes of defeating the Khuzait army due to outnumbering them, but unfortunately, this is the day we learned that a mass of cavalry and horse archers are rather powerful. As the battle continues and the losses mount, we elect to flee the battle to save our own hides once more. Perhaps we could take shelter in a nearby castle and weather the storm. And as the Khuzait sieged the castle, we thought, what's the worst that could happen? Unfortunately, the Khuzaits got the better of us and we were thrown into the dungeons of Onira. Soon we had an offer of freedom after paying a ransom, and not wanting to squander my time any further, we accepted. Once more, we're left with nothing. But thankfully this time, we have a caravan that can earn us some coin daily. One day we will rise above these trials and show the Khuzaits what for. For now, we must build ourselves back up again. The Southern Empire soon made peace with the North, and our brother Varric reached adolescence. Whilst in the middle of searching for our fortunes, two messages arrived. One for the ransom of Nogan, which we can't pay right now, and the other an offer of vassalage from Empress Regaia herself. A courier arrives bearing a message from Regaia. She remarks on your growing reputation and asks if you would consider pledging yourself as a vassal of the Southern Empire. You should speak in person if you're interested. We'll have to visit her later. Honestly, that's a better offer than I got from the Battanians. We also reunite with Saralind and Phykeon, our separated party closer to becoming whole once again. And on our way to meet the Empress, hoping to find her in Lycaron, we get an offer of ransom for our sister Alda, which we pay off, having earned more money since then. Unfortunately, the Empress was not at Lycaron. We need to find her in person to become a formal vassal, so we tried asking her daughter, Princess Ira, where she might be.
Well, and what do we have here? Would you care to tell me your good name?
She's a bit of a firebrand. We learned that Regaia is currently recuperating from her injury, so we may not be able to meet her until later. We had some spare time, so we played around the board games with Ira to pass the time. We didn't win, but while trying to get a rematch, we saw an interesting option. I wish to profess myself your most ardent admirer. We were planning on accepting the offer of vassalage, and what better way to get in good graces than being bound by blood? Plus, she's kind of a girl boss. I think that's a word. She might be impulsive, cruel, and a bit close-fisted, but we can fix her. Right? Right? So, I've had you traveled around a fair bit. Know that you've seen a lot of strange and awful things. Maybe you've done a few strange and awful things. Go on, tell me a bit about your journeys. I promise not to be shocked. Yeah, it's a rough world, but there are opportunities to be seized right now if you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. I see. Between your followers, your rivals, and your enemies, you must have been a lot of interesting people. I'm just honored to have fought alongside comrades who thought nothing of shedding their blood to keep me alive. Yes, you might be correct. Some people say you will go far. Suppose you were to rise to a position of power, what will you do? I hope I can bring peace to the land and justice and alleviate people's suffering. Yes, you might be correct. Well, seems to have a fair amount in common. Perhaps we can talk more when we meet again. And with a successful conversation, we leave and run around, fighting bandits and looters, and have a realization. Why not just ask Ira where her mother is? Apparently she's in Melion Castle, but why not take the opportunity to get to know Ira a little more intimately? Now we'll find and talk to Regaia. Perhaps we should discuss our future together. Yes, I've been thinking about that. I like a warrior who strikes fear in the hearts of his enemies. Are you that kind of man? My foes may not fear my sword, but they should fear my cunning. I'm happy to hear that. I will be honest, I have plans, and I expect the person I marry to have the income to support them. Can't your passion for me overcome such base feelings? Also, I do have a caravan. I do plan to have more later. Ooh, critical success. Ah, it makes me so glad to hear you say that. Yes, I think I'd be honored to accept your proposal. Regea, as head of our family, needs to give her blessing. There are usually financial arrangements to be made. Well, we will need to pay a dowry to finalize the marriage, so we hunt more bandits for loot, taking out roving bands and crushing hideouts to make the Southern Empire all that much safer, and reaping the rewards from it. We ransomed our brother from captivity and the gang is all back together. Now it's off to Melion Castle. Track. Tracking allows you to find the settlements on the world map. As long as the track button is active, location selected, the settlements will be highlighted. You can click the point near the settlement text to disable tracking. Currently near Usek. Apparently Regea is not here right now, and instead near Usek, so I'll have to go on a goose chase. Fog of War. You have opened a page where your character has very little information. Arriving at settlements and meeting people of interest related to this page will reveal more and up-to-date information. As we're about to head into Khuzait lands, we come across Regea's party. How convenient. First things first, we finalize our vassalage to Regea and the Southern Empire. Greetings, Bohemond. I'm glad that you received my message. Are you interested in my offer? Yes, I am ready to accept your offer. Good. Then repeat the words of the oath with me. I swear by my ancestors that you are the lawful rightful empress of the Calradians. I swear by my ancestors that you are the lawful rightful empress of the Calradians. I affirm that you are the executor of the will of the Senate and people. I affirm that you are the executor of the will of the Senate and the people. Furthermore, I accept induction into the army of Calradia at the rank of Archon. Furthermore, I accept induction into the army of Calradia at the rank of Archon. And as such that you are my commander, I shall follow you wherever you lead. And as such that you are my commander, and I shall follow you wherever you lead. In exchange for your loyalty, I offer you the command of some of my best men. And in recognition of your worth, let me present you with this gift, which I hope will serve you well on the battlefield. On the 18th day of spring, 1087, Dayhotville joined the Southern Empire. As a sign-up bonus, we receive a regiment of heavy cavalry, two-handed sword, and a banner. Standard of courage. I proclaim you a citizen of the Empire of the rank of senator. Your life and property shall be protected by our laws, and shall not be taken from you except by law. You may serve as a magistrate over towns and villages, and as a general over armies if we call upon you to do so. You have done a wise thing, Bohemond. Serve me well, and I promise you will rise high. Thank you, my lady. I have great hopes for you. I know you shall prove yourself worthy of the trust I have placed in you. Is there anything else? First, can you tell me anything about the Battle of Pendraic? Of course, I did not witness the battle, but my husband Arenikos spoke frequently of it. He was one of the Emperor's trusted commanders. He could not stop Neretzes from marching to defeat, but when he managed to salvage something from the disaster. When the Sturgians came over our barricades, he managed to lead a group of Neretzes guardsmen out the back. My husband's small force held together and were joined by stragglers and fugitives. He described the march back: no food, little water, marching day and night to keep ahead of the enemy's outriders. But they survived, the only organized Imperial force to do so. The city was in a state of panic after hearing rumors of what happened. Arenikos kept things from descending into chaos. When it came time for the Senate to choose the next emperor, there was no question that it should be him. I loved him before as a man, but that day learned to love him as something more. What a gift he was to the people of Calradia. Also, I wish to discuss the final terms of my marriage with Ira. Very well then. Ooh, I can actually afford this. On the 18th day of spring, 1087, Bohemond married Ira. Congratulations, and may the heavens bless you. We finalize our marriage and are given a quest to scout out the Khuzait lands. Need some help with a problem? We don't know enough about the enemy, where they are strong and where they are weak. I don't want to lead a huge army through the territory on a wild goose hunt. We need someone to ride through there swiftly, scouting out their garrisons. Can you do this? Yes, your ladyship, I will gladly do it. Go deep into Khuzait territory to Akisar Castle, Sirato's Castle, and Calradia Castle. I want to know every detail about them, what sort of fortification they have, whether the walls are well manned under garrison, any other enemy forces in the vicinity. Consider it. Well, let's do that scouting in garrisons now. Very well. When you reach one of the fortresses, spend some time observing. Don't move on to the next one at once. You don't need to find me to report back the details, just send your messengers. Thankfully, they're pretty close to the Empire's land, so we don't need to venture too far out into dangerous territory. We scout out the first castle while the Empire's army besieges it, and the second castle gets scouted safely, and the Empire signs a trade agreement with Sturgia. I don't know what that does, but as someone with a caravan, it must be a good thing. Vote for signing a trade agreement with Sturgia. Kingdom decision. You can participate in your faction's decision-making process through this panel. You can spend influence to sway opinions, but the ruler will always have the last word. Select one of the available decision options to continue. We scout the last castle without any issues. Apparently the army that was besieging the first castle was defeated, and the Empire has voted to make peace with the Khuzaits for now. Hopefully one day we'll give them what for. Victory for Bohemond! We continue to participate in tournaments, and the Empire signs a trade agreement with the Aserai? Trade agreement with Aserai? Well, hopefully that means it'll be peaceful for now. Unfortunately, we seem to shoulder some of the burden for the tribute paid to the Khuzaits for a truce, and one of my companions decided to give me a good talking to about keeping our troops paid. My lord, there's something I wish to discuss with you. The men say their wages are late. Best uphold your end of the bargain with them, they might not keep theirs. It would especially be tricky if they chose to avoid their contract during a battle, wouldn't you say? Very well, I will consider this. For now, we can keep afloat by selling our excess goods, and while we could sell our tournament prizes, we like having them, so we're keeping them. So instead we go back to our roots and earn money the old-fashioned way, fighting bandits and competing in tournaments. After the battle, one of your Imperial trained archer from your party approaches you, dreamed of riding with your cavalry as an Imperial heavy horseman. He has the money to buy his own horse, and he certainly distinguished himself in the fight. You know, however, that this will go down badly, with a highborn cavalry who prefer to mingle with their own class, but probably even more so with his comrades who will think he scorns them. Morale is temporary, increased reputation for being munificent. We trek around the Western Empire, clearing bandit camps and the like, along with a few side quests along the way. Need help with a problem? Caravan ambush. I run caravans, as you may know. I lose a few to bandits from time to time, but generally my caravans are sufficiently well guarded to scare off small gangs and move quickly enough to outrun the big ones. The problem there is that there's a new bandit chief out there who knows his business, and has outfitted men with horses and uses proper cavalry tactics. I lost 3 caravans in a row. I can't afford to keep this up for long. What are you planning to do about them? I got a trick up my sleeve. We'll bait them. I paid some of my workers to spread rumors that a particularly fat caravan laden with silverware is heading out towards Rote. It is a trap, of course, but I got a bunch of mercenaries going with it, disguised as packers. But they could use some backup. Go and follow my caravan, stay at a proper distance until they are attacked, then move in to finish the bandits once and for all. My caravan master will pay you 1,736 dinars when the fight is over. I'll send someone to look. In that case, you should send a good commander with some 30 men just to be safe, and I'll send them back to you in 5 days. I'll help you myself. Excellent, I'm counting on you. The caravan will be leaving soon. Ah, raiders. Pillager mounted ransackers.
Hear me! Get moving! Soldiers! Move! Square formation! You heard that! Take formation! Warriors! Forward! Pulse, everyone! Soldiers! Soldiers! Pulse, hear me! All of you! Troop force! Soldiers! Cut them down! Hear me! Warrior! Cavalry! At them!
Go get him! Ooh, horses. Thank you, sir. Larosia and the Mariner informed me that help will be on the way. We needed it, I think. Those were a pretty tough lot. Glad we caught up to you in time. I'll tell everyone that you did. Please take some of the goods and please take some of these goods in compensation. We have no intention to sell them anyway. Safe travel, sir. We help a merchant from dispatching a band of bandits targeting his caravans, and remember that we can send out a second party again, giving Bigother a mix of looters, archers, and infantry to start him out. In Aserai lands, we notice a former Imperial settlement. Danustica is currently occupied by rebels, so let's go check that out. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to take it over. On the way, we find Adram's party, who is indicated by the quest marker to be another noble who can inform us more about the battle. And it seems like Danustica is getting besieged by the Khuzaits anyway, so we turn around and chase after Adram instead.
Stop there, stranger. I bid you peace, at least until I find out who you are, anyway.
Mir Adram. Of the Banu Saran. They know me as Bohemond. I am Adram of the Banu Saran, clan of the Aserai. I've heard of you. Last we meet, you sound like a good man to know. Let us speak together from time to time. Can you tell me anything about the Battle of Pendrake? There was never a prouder moment for the Bani Saran. The bravest and the most valiant son of our clan, Nimir, led off a large group of Aserai warriors to fight for the Empire, for gold and glory. I went with them. When we saw the Battanian archers come down from the hills, Nimir was ready. He gave the word. We held our shields over our heads as the arrows rained down, then threw our javelins and charged. We cut them down. Then the Vlandian knights came. We were attacked on two sides, and the Emperor, who could have sent men to save us, took his time. Perhaps he wanted the best of the Aserai to die, lest we become too powerful later. But that betrayal was nothing compared to what we received from our fellow Aserai of the Banu Kirid. Nimir returned in well-deserved glory. A daughter of the Banu Kirid took an interest in him, and they had a secret affair, as youth sometimes do, as heroes do. But Nimir's acts wounded the Kildi's pride. They kidnapped him, slew him, and hung him in a cage in their market. We will forgive the Empire and the Vlandians. The Kildis? Better not ask me that. Thank you. Let's not tell him our brother is wed to the daughter of the Banu killed. Their lair must be nearby. While we're on a bandit hunting recruiting spree, the Southern Empire unanimously declares war on the Sturgians. I wonder if we'll be able to get some fiefs early. Right, we're on the Sturgians it is. On the way, we clear out more bandits, have a little marital spat, agree to collect taxes from a lord who's currently in the town that he rules over, barely win another tournament, hand over the taxes, head over to her, join our army. Never mind. Not fighting those numbers. Creating an army. You can create an army by adding members from the list on the left. To finalize your choices, press Done. Gathering of your army may take some time. I mean, if I just gather my parties, well, other parties within my clan, it doesn't cost anything. So I guess the goal is to make more parties. Which means I need to get more renown. Among the loot from your last battle, you discover a vat of fine wine from Tarkutis. You know that you could sell for a considerable sum, but your men just risk their lives and don't seem inclined to pocket silver tomorrow for a drink today. Smash the top of the amphorae and let them drink their fill. Unfortunately, the first army was not able to take the castle they were sieging, but enough numbers did gather to put up a fight against the Sturgians besieging Melion Castle. So let's get our participation award. Oh, okay, I guess we're fighting. Ow. Ow. It still went great. We won, and I got some gold out of it. Hooray! Afterwards, we catch up with the main army laying siege to Gallows Castle, which was occupied by the Sturgians. And finally, we had a battle where we didn't get knocked out in the first 2 seconds that I can show without being embarrassed. Alright, let's see if you guys are more courageous than the Battanians. Wait, I have an idea. me borrow this mangonel. Ah, no, the siege tower is already on the way to the breach. Would have been funny if I could just aim it at the middle of the exposed part. The answer is no. Oh, there's Archer.
Die, you bastards!
Unfortunately, we don't get the privilege of pillaging as we were not joined with the army at the start, but still, we participated, and that's what really counts. There was a vote on who should get the castle, but unfortunately we were not a valid nominee for the fief. That's fine, they'll give us what we deserve in due time. Compared to that exciting siege, the rest of our day was comparatively mundane. as we stuck to our tried and true methods of tournaments and bandit hideouts, and Battania has fallen? This early? Battania is no more. On the 7th day of winter, 1087, our realm fell. The High Kingdom of the Battanians is no more. Courier arrived from the Sturgeons bearing a peace offer. The Sturgeons will pay 1416 tribute each day to end the war between your realms. Your kingdom will vote whether to accept the offer. The Sturgeons also offered tribute for a truce, and it seems like most of the Empire agreed. Probably for the best, as we're not ready to fight that far north. And in the midst of our journeys, a child was born to ourselves in Era. On the 10th day of winter, 1087, a child was born to Era. You could just hear people outside cheering that a baby was born. To close out the day, we won a tournament, received a horse we can't ride, paid our taxes, and called it a night. Back taxes. Your reputation as a skilled trader generally does you good, but there's always a downside. When you arrive in Zeonica, the market inspector descends from his tower to present you with a list of fees that you supposedly accumulated over the years, based on decrees that goes back several centuries. The decrees may be genuine, but in all your talk with merchants, you never heard of anyone ever paying them. Hey, but say for all to hear that the selective application of obscure laws is little better than theft.